Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Today, I welcome some special guests from the West Coast. We got the boys from State of War, Larry and Jason. How you boys doing?
What's up?
Awesome. How are you?
Not too bad. It's back to being cold again. Actually, I'm not too sure. It's supposed to warm up at some point, but hopefully spring's getting around the corner, as I'm sure you probably know about Puxatawny Phil out here in PA.
Yeah.
He's all a shadow, so
Oh, yeah.
6 more weeks of winter, but it's bound to happen at some point. So, I guess, so which part of the world are you guys hailing from?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, we got boys from Vegas. All right.
Oh, yeah. Born and raised.
Good old Sin City, as they would say.
Oh, yes.
And actually, it was a couple years ago already. I was actually in Vegas, just walking along the strip right there. So, actually, it was almost like going through a maze, just trying to get through all the buildings. It was like high 90s outside. So, it's probably like bacon. So,
that's a breezy
Normal
spring day. Yeah. That's like
you guys are used to it.
Oh, yeah. In the summers, it gets about 120.
We are true men of the desert. The desert storm, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
I guess so. What you boys been up to recently? What's new?
Well, I suppose doing something is new. This isn't something that was expected. It's something that we did together years ago. Him and I and a couple other people were involved in the band in Vegas. We had developed a following. We were doing quite well, and then, of course, as usual, the same old story. It goes up in a ball of flames. Life's events have kind of led me in a direction to where I need to get some aggression out, and I felt this was the best way to do it. And just to throw my hat in the ring.
You guys got some new music coming out here pretty soon?
Oh,
or
we
planning to
do.
do any shows? So
On February 14th, we're not going to do any shows until it's right for us. We are older now. We do have families. We do have responsibilities. So if that was going to come to fruition, it would have to be under the correct circumstances. But we do have our first debut single, I Shit on Your Grave, coming out on Valentine's Day.
Yes. Song for lovers.
Yes, it is a love song.
are we supposed to be pissing on the grave first? So about the time it's supposed to go.
The whole point of the song is even after you're gone, I'm going to shit on your grave.
All right. Just so sweet, true love.
It's definitely a love song.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Maybe some sort of twisted love song. We can probably say it's like the Avenged Sevenfold of State of Wars sort of song.
Yeah, right?
I mean, you talk about a little piece of heaven right there. You just talk about you try to propose to a girl, she refuses, and then you kill her, and then you make love to her body.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. Music's definitely the better way to go than that.
We can at least get away with R-rated material.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
right?
That's
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a hiatus, but life takes you back and music's always there, you know what I mean?
Yep. Music finds a way, as they say.
Always.
But you can elaborate more on everything else here in just a little bit here too. But boys, hello to my podcast right here. I think it's going to be interesting because I think when I was talking with Jason, I think he says he's quite a talker, and I guess we got a lot to cover here too. So I guess let's go ahead and jump to questions.
Oh, sorry. If you wanted to talk the influences or anything like that, yeah, I can go for days. I can talk music for hours. But sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Actually, we're just going to start at the beginning right here because we always do a story with a beginning, middle, and an end, unless we start with like in medias res or something like that.
Right.
So, but let's start at the beginning right here too. And Jason, you go ahead and start. So tell us your story when he was just a wee little lad. And I guess how'd you pick up an instrument? And I guess what's your story about how you became one?
Well, I was raised into it. My father was a guitar player. I can remember sitting on his knee and him having me hold the acoustic playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And then my first introduction into music was actually rap, hip hop. This was the late 80s, early 90s. I was just a baby practically. And I started hearing stuff like NWA, Eazy-E, got very familiar with Too Short, all the West Coast legends, man. And then even the East Coast, Public Enemy, the whole scene over there. And then that led me into wanting to get into the darker, harder side of music. So of course I crossed over into rock, metal, and went on from there. And that's when I started picking up a guitar. As soon as I heard Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast for the first time, that was it.
As I hence the flag right behind you there too. It took me a little bit to recognize it.
Yep.
I actually did see Iron Maiden, and actually still kicking ass, but they only did The Prisoner from that album, which was a little sad because I was hoping they did Run to the Hills or Number of the Beast, but it is what it is. So.
I saw them on the reunion tour when they first got Bruce Dickinson back, when they released Brave New World. It was awesome. They played everything you'd want them to and more.
Sorry about Nico O'Brien, though, I guess, or Nico McBrain. So
yeah, that's really sad to hear. That's somebody we idolized growing up,
Oh, definitely.
That's for sure. So I guess let's hear Larry's story.
Oh, well, similar to his. I mean, all right, to get the record straight, I'm from the Bay Area, San Francisco. I've been out in Vegas since '96. So my dad was a drummer. Of course, being from a two family working income down there in the Bay, a lot of time with my dad. The way he watched my brothers and sisters is he made us sit in the garage and watch him play. So there's my main influence. Of course, classic rock. And then lo and behold, Bay Area thrash came out, man. The big boys, Exodus, Testament, Violent,
Slayer.
Forbidden. Slayer was coming out of LA, but doing a lot of Bay Area stuff. Dave Lombardo is the reason I started playing thrash drums, man.
Metallica, Bay Area.
Dave Lombardo, just straight up. But then, of course, I mean, Possessed came along. Next thing you know, you got Death coming in and Cannibal Corpse and everything. I mean, I'm still a thrash guy, touch of death metal, like some crossover, little DRI, little punk in there, little metal. But then moved out here, met up with these cats around 2002?
Yeah, 2001.
2002. And we started kicking ass, doing a lot of good shows, and shit fizzled. Both went our ways. We actually played in another band together in late 2000s?
Late 2000s, yeah.
Of course, that crumbled too, but we always kept in contact. But
I started working on this, and
yeah, I came in as a consultant on this. This was his solo project, It was Jason's project, and then lo and behold, consulting. Yeah, I love this guy. It just started making sense, and he's like, "Well, fuck, let's do it." Here we are.
The so-called brother from another mother, if we wanted to say.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we're both vertically challenged, so there's no height restrictions in this band.
Yeah, no.
Gene White.
Was that why? Is Jason like a 6-foot giant here? He's like
No, I'm Jones. Like 5'8", 5'9" on a good day, if I slept right.
Yeah. I'm about the same height if I'm wearing my platforms.
Little combat boots or those elevator boots you see some women wear. Yeah.
Well, I'm shrinking too. I'm a few years older than him, so spine compresses.
That explains the beard then. So yeah.
That's why I sit down and play. Nobody can tell.
Like, oh, this guy must be a giant or something. So yeah.
Right.
No.
Actually, how did you guys meet up? Was it mainly word of mouth or something through the internet?
I got this one.
Yeah.
So, originally this started with myself and a individual we'll call C. And we started this out together. We tested a couple of guys. We found one that worked for the time being, and it got things in motion. And then we brought in a bass player named Mario Gallardo, who I hope to be revisiting us in the near future, who is an amazing bassist. We hooked up with him, and the core was formed. We came up with the name on Sunday, September 10th, 2001. Blew our freaking minds the next day. And we were like, okay, that's the name. And then once we had that established, we started playing locally, and drummer fizzled out. It wasn't for him. And a friend of mine, good friend of mine I've known since childhood, called me up and said, well, hey, know this guy around the corner. He's played in a bunch of bands, and went to go meet him with her, and lo and behold, we got along right away. Started talking shit like we'd known each other for the last 20 years.
Exactly.
And it just went from there.
Like we said, long lost brother in this case.
Yep.
Just happened to fit right in. So yeah.
We just had
Through.
the same idea. We had the same basic ideas. We wanted to be thrashy, but we wanted to touch into death metal, and we wanted to touch into a little groovy, I'd say, hardcoreness, but more some with some bounce to it, and try to just mix it all together. And that's what we did with our first couple songs.
And try to break the mold that's constantly going on. Yeah.
Keep it
Get
interesting.
out of the pigeonhole.
Yeah, everyone wants to try to break the mold in some sort of capacity.
Yeah.
Especially then in the 2000s when people were like breaking grounds with like the death metal, that sort of stuff there too.
Yep.
Because I think Jason, you were showing me like all these influences. He's like showing these messages on Skype. It's like a whole list of all these influences.
Dude, you have no idea. If you could see what is in this room, I mean, it would give you an idea. There's about 700 vinyl behind me, everything from Bill Withers to Mozart to, I mean, name any heavy band, any pop group, anything in the last 40 years, you're going to find it.
So we're down in the red light district with the red light here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's Vegas.
it's Vegas. So, yeah. So, I guess what was more of the story with State of War in this case? Because it seems like you guys did maybe this little band routine for a good while. Did you tour globally?
Not globally. We did a lot of back and forth with the West Coast or with California, Bay Area in particular. We did a little bit in Southern California. We were on our way to working up to the Northwest and down into the South American territories. We had a huge following in Mexico. They would drive all the way up here across the border just to see our shows. We always knew they were always at the front of the stage, grabbing people next to them, making them bang their heads. They were awesome.
Diehards, man.
Total diehards. And we were also starting to get a little attention in Florida. So had we continued, yeah, things could have gone globally, but it just wasn't meant to reach that point.
Because we call it partially globally. Because I mean, we tried to at least get to Mexico. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a 5-hour drive, 6 hour, well, 8 maybe.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was gonna say, never got a chance to go to Canada.
I did. We never played there, but I did go to British Columbia for a little bit. I was recording up there with some individuals and a good friend of mine, Sean, who's actually the son of the guitar player for Cirque Pizzole. He's been a good friend of ours. He was involved in the scene at the same time. So naturally, yeah, had to visit him up there.
I was like, Vancouver, it's a beautiful city, but it's pretty crowded to say the least. So yeah.
It is, but it was cool.
Yeah. So let's see. I guess when did this band actually disband? Was it more of because of career differences, or were you guys having maybe a little infighting with maybe drugs or alcohol?
C had a big problem with substances. He had a lot of issues, period. And it made its way into the band, and it tore us apart from within, and then he left us and basically pissed on us. And we had come so far in such a short amount of time that we just didn't have any energy left. There was so much going on internally, externally. We just didn't have anything left. So we cut it then in 2003. I was trying to continue it on with new members. Still me writing the material. And then that fizzled out. And then I tried to bring it back in 2010? 2012? We tried it again.
Something like that.
We gave it a run, and again, just fizzled out. It just didn't feel right. But now we're in a situation where it definitely feels right.
That's good to hear. Actually, you should have said call him T instead. That way you could say Mr. T. So
Yeah.
the A team. That's what we should have been. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that first run, I mean, we put everything into one basket. I mean, we were we were actually paying our friends bands in LA to come out here with a good following.
And NorCal.
We were setting up the shows. We were giving all the road bands the profits. Support the guys on the road, and shit, we were packing $250 a show. And for a band that's been together for 8 months, boom. I mean it. And so when problems went on with the C, I guess it kind of crushed us. Kind of killed our drive.
He jumped ship here. He thought the grass was greener on the other side, and he discovered that was because it was fertilized with bullshit.
What was that, Sky? I see. So you guys been kind of rolling with this since like the 2010s, I guess. How bad did COVID kind of impact all your plans? Did you guys have to kind of put this State of War project on hold?
That was all you. He was still writing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been on a 7-year hiatus basically from music.
I finished a run with a great band, Achromatica, another one here in Vegas, black metal basically. We did very well in a very short amount of time. Our third show was at the House of Blues. We were doing very well. The problem is that right after our House of Blues show, it was the Wacken battle. Our guitar player had a stroke. That pretty much, that was it.
During the set, or was it after the show?
It was right after the show. As soon as we walked off stage, he dropped. Yeah, he's still alive. He's doing okay, but it did kind of crush that. The drummer and the singer went on to form a band called Gravethorn, who just got signed, and they're doing very well internationally. So it worked out for the best for everybody.
I've actually been in touch with Gravethorn. I've actually been trying to actually get him on. And
oh, really?
One of them, I forgot that's the name. And I think he's now like out in the middle of nowhere right there, and he has to like go to his Starbucks to get some good Wi-Fi. So,
nice.
Was that Christoph?
I want to say yes. I'm not too sure, but I've been in contact, and I'm going to try to get him on tomorrow.
So. Oh, awesome! Yeah, love that guy. He's helped. He actually designed our logo. Mario Gallardo designed our original one, and I'm sure he's mad that I didn't use it. But I'm going to rectify that situation. But no, he's been a big help to me, especially getting this going. He was a big inspiration to get this going because he started up Gravethorn in his bedroom. He said, same thing I did, tired of dealing with other people, tired of having to wait for everybody. He just did it himself and ran with it. And it worked in no time at all. So, yeah, he's a great guy. Love that guy.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly. We're going live. Fuck it. So, yeah. Basically. But I guess outside of music, I guess, how bad was COVID for you guys mentally and family-wise?
Not bad, actually. I prefer to be a hermit. And that's kind of how I got into taking producing seriously. That's the time I used to develop skills. That's also a time that turned out to be extremely hard in many different ways, but it wasn't because of COVID. But we weren't as affected as a lot of other people. We were very lucky.
Yeah. Fortunately, I was in the union, working in the union, and we were essential workers. So we had a special letter, so we'd go to work and all that. And like I said, that's why I was on a hiatus from music. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, paving roads. Fun job out here in Vegas. But yeah. All that.
At least they can't complain that you weren't getting your exercise for the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no, definitely.
That's for sure. Does they get the nice tan body and everything there too?
Oh, no. Cover up, man. The sun will eat you alive out here, brother.
Yep.
That's for sure. It gets strangers go by going, that old deal.
Yeah, that'd be him and himself.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody got to do it.
Did you guys get sick with COVID? I guess so. Were you guys okay?
Well, we did get sick. Well, I got sick from it. My wife got sick from it. It was very mild. It felt like a cold. So like I said, we didn't really get affected by it that much.
No, didn't affect me. Actually, COVID got Larry. So it was kind of reversed there. I escaped through it just fine, man. My girlfriend had it. I didn't get it. 3 of the guys at work all got tested positive. We're close with them. I didn't get it. So that's my story. COVID got Larry.
Wasn't it Larry got COVID?
No.
Oh.
COVID got Larry. It's like, when the snake dies from biting Chuck Norris, same thing happened with COVID.
Snake bites Chuck Norris, and the snake ends up dying.
Yeah. 3 days of agonizing pain, then the snake died. That's it.
I should have to cue the Disturbed song. I'm indestructible. So I don't want.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's it, brother. That's my COVID story. That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Thank God for that. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, good to see you boys are doing well out there too. So.
Thank you.
But I guess still sticking with Kobe here too. I guess. Are you guys real close to downtown, or is this like more in the suburbs of Vegas?
Suburbs. We're in Henderson.
I guess what's been your experience or perspective with the music scene in and around Vegas?
Sorry. That's a tough one. When we were doing it, it was all of us together. Everyone in the scene worked together. We all helped each other. We all wanted to elevate each other.
Yep.
The music scene now is all about tearing everybody down. And it's not going anywhere. Nothing positive has come out of it in the last couple of years. There's really not much to say about it. Anybody that rises disappears. It's so fly by night here. None of the bands stay together. It's under construction.
Yeah. It's a little hard because Vegas is all by itself. You got LA, you got San Diego, you got Central California, Northern California, everything, within a decent driving distance. Vegas, you got people from Vegas to come to your shows. It's hard to get out of towners.
And people from Vegas don't want to leave their house. Getting butts in seats or people, standing in standing room situation. It's just impossible unless you know somebody who knows everybody, unless you're that guy that knows everybody in town, unless you're that special somebody. It's hard to get anybody to go.
That's unfortunate.
At least we don't have to pass out flyers anymore. Fucking.
That was the fun part, though.
I saw a guy doing these little flyers. It was made into a strip club right here. There's all nice girls showing their hooters and everything. So
there you go. That's marketing.
Yep.
Hey, it would work. You'd be like, ooh, let me get some of those jugs right there or something.
I'm lacking in the chest area. Unfortunately, it wouldn't work. This guy's flat as a board too. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I would say it is a little unfortunate too, because I guess you also have to kind of rely on tourists. They kind of also show up there too, because everyone's coming there trying to spend junior savings on the slot machines to win the big bucks or something like that. So I guess do they do any sort of shows, any casinos where people can probably come and perform, or is they mainly like covering tribute bands?
No, not really at the casinos. Most of the casinos have their side clubs. The Virgin Hotel's got its side clubs. I've seen a lot of bands there, a lot of metal fest there.
But for local bands, not really. There's the Dive Bar. There's Triple B's out here that are probably the two most frequented by local bands. There's another one called The Space that is actually really nice. It's just tucked away in an office building, so you don't know where it is. That's really it.
Clubs pop up and then they're around for 5 years and then they shut down. So it's a little tough.
Being in the middle of the desert always made me nervous. It's a scary place. I've heard about the holes they talk about here, and everywhere I look, there could be a hole.
That's true. From what I hear.
No comment. Nah, kidding.
Maybe thanks to Casino and Robert De Niro. Can't give me that quote.
Growing up here, you hear all the stories. I've actually been to Spilatro's house. It's weird to see reality cross into, fiction, I guess. Because Casino, especially growing up here in the 80s, I saw a lot of that going on. I remember the news report of what's his name getting blown up outside of what was it? Fruit place that used to be out here.
Sam's?
No, I forget. I forget the name, but
Well, I'm from San Francisco, bro.
yeah. No, I can't remember the name of the fucking restaurant it was, but it was right on Sahara. Right near Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard, right in the parking lot. Just kaboom. I think I was 5 when that happened.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Sharon Stone driving the car and causing a
Yep.
scene and everything too. So
Yep. Well, and my uncle was Randy Oakes, a police captain here for Metro. My uncle was a detective out here for Metro, I believe, at the time. So we heard a lot of the stuff going on at that time, just from family members.
jeez, it's kind of scary too when you think about it.
It is.
So, all right. That's at least good to see a little historical fiction, or maybe kind of blending in that reality or that sort of stuff that Casino was kind of trying to cover there too. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
yeah.
Because I mean, there have been other instances of it that weren't publicized as much. The strip club out here was a Crazy Horse too. It was just another extension of that same entity that was going on in Vegas at the time. It was just a much smaller version of it. There's been a lot of stuff out here like that.
I can believe it. So, all right. Well, good to see you boys have been safe, and thanks to your family members for also their service in the police force too. So,
Definitely, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
all right. So let's make a game here about the influences because I know you guys got a whole bunch of them too. So let's do top 5. I guess what would you say was perhaps your biggest influences for just Stay at War, and I guess maybe any other projects if you want to talk about them.
Oh. First and foremost, Slayer.
Yeah.
For this project, Deicide, Slayer,
Deeds of Flesh.
Death.
Yes.
Heavy influence from the Norwegian scene. So I'd have to give Emperor probably the top 5 slot.
Okay, Larry.
And I mean, that's just
I wouldn't say so much bands for me. I mean, Slayer, be all end all favorite thrash band for me, but it's more genres, man. Just thrash, old school death metal, the old style Bay Area thrash mainly, being there. Yeah, growing up with it as it started, But yeah, definitely Slayer, Exodus, and then moving into, of course, Death. And like I said,
5.
I'm into a lot of punk either, or also.
Yeah, I mean, you can't name 5. I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to name it. It's more of a genre thing for me, And then again, jazz and blues, So it's whatever I mix into the drumming is pretty much just how I feel, whatever I enjoy listening to,
Yeah, and there's also a classical influence. Of course, when you're playing that kind of music, it uses a lot of the classical chord structures. So, of course, big influence, Beethoven, Mozart, Pachelbel, Vivaldi's Four Seasons especially. Is where I draw a lot of it from. And then, of course, metal and everything else. I mean, rap, hip hop, it started with Eazy-E and NWA, worked its way up to, the Swedish death metal scene, Grave, At the Gates. The list goes on. It's a question like that is rather hard to answer.
I know. I also see the Dr. Dre poster back there too, so I think we can also say the influence as well.
Yeah. Oh, Dre, definitely. Dre is the reason I started producing. He was what I listened to first time I put headphones on. And then watching him come up with Death Row Records and then Aftermath and Eminem, 50 Cent. I mean, the guy's a legend. And that's just kind of where it started for me. He started in his bedroom. So did I.
I was saying you try to take a nickname too. Should we call you Dr. War in this case?
Nah, not yet.
Dr. J's been taken, so.
Yeah. No, not yet. We'll see where this goes.
It's funny Larry mentioned about Dr. J because I remember a TV show it was basically Bam Margera. It was Bam's Unholy Union. He got a tattoo underneath his lip right here.
Yeah.
They put Dr. J on there. I mean, absolutely no sense, but I mean, like, it was meant to be something related more to the wedding.
Yeah.
So, apparently, he was from Pennsylvania, and he's the man. So,
That's it.
I guess so. Hey. But is it mainly just you two who are doing this little project, or I guess who do you guys have also helping out?
Well, it's been me up to this point. I've been working with him, sending him files back and forth, getting input on the drums. He's been consulting with other people as well, getting input on the drums. I'm not a drummer, but yet I'm programming the drums, so
Yeah.
I needed somebody who could give me a little bit more direction in that area.
He likes to write drumming that's almost physically impossible. He's a good pusher. Play this. Ah, damn it. So he definitely pushes. And then we just exchange ideas, and like I said, we're just about there, right?
Yeah.
Couple I's to dot and T's to cross, and we're on our way, man.
It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm either expecting it to start and have a ripple effect, do absolutely nothing, or who knows. I just want people to enjoy it. That's all.
I mean,
Hopefully it
That's what
reaches somebody like I was reached.
for as much production that's going into it, I mean, it's really just a basic, good fucking metal song. You know, not too complicated, not too theatrical. It's just good, hard fucking metal, man. And that's all we want to play. You know, bob your head to it, get into it. That's it.
Yep.
The bobblehead effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. We tended to have a beat the crap out of the guy next to you effect.
Yeah.
Especially Justin.
Yeah. Nah, just keep it raw, man. Keep it just raw metal, man. That's what I like. You know, I'm not into overproduction, but just give me something where I can fucking drive down the road, or while I'm working or working out or whatever I'm fucking doing. I'm just sitting there. People think I'm nuts. Got my headphones in. I'm sitting there walking around, bobbing my head, and playing the drums as I walk on my tippy toes. They think I'm some kind of elf or something. But fucking hey, as long as I'm in my music world, that's what I like. And I hope people.
High as a kite.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I do. Get lost in the song, man.
I think so. I was going to make the joke earlier because it seems Jason likes to bust your balls in terms of like trying to play this drum part. It's probably a lot more blast beating than probably what it should be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's one part in particular that I haven't released yet. We're not quite sure how we're going to pull this one off. I'm pretty sure he's going to break a leg or an ankle or something on this one. It's going to be very interesting to see, but also kind of funny on my end. So we'll see.
Yeah, I probably would not be doing vocals during that one part.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, what is it particularly? Is it pretty much the
Hyperblast.
Oh, he's hyper blasting like crazy.
gravity blast? What do we want to say?
It's definitely a workout.
Yeah. You'll hear.
That sounds good. All right.
When it drops, yeah, it'll be noticed.
All right. I guess what gear do you guys have to make the magic happen? And I guess what sort of gear did you use for this particular single coming out soon?
Okay, so a lot. So as I told you before, I had a PC die in the middle of this right before we were supposed to do the interview. And the fact that I was able to kill this thing speaks volume as to what I'm doing. So I'm running Cubase 13. Was running a Motu 8 Pre, but now I'm using an Apollo Twin X. I have a Yamaha setup, the 8-inch and 7s, I believe, with the sub. I use the Shure Beta 57 for the vocal mic, or the SM7B. I'm using something different for guitars. I'm not going to give away secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to the process on that.
I guess what brand are your guitars, and I guess Larry, what brand's drums do you use?
Paul Reed Smith is my main go-to. A custom 24 CE and a custom core 22 are my preferred. For 7-string, I prefer Solar 7Vs. Absolutely love it. And this guy, it's up to him.
Yeah. No, basic drum. I mean, I've switched from Tama. Well, I've gone to Pearl. I'm checking out some sonars right now. Just I like the tone on them. But basic cymbals. I stick with Zildjian. I like a thin, crispy sound. Of course, I break them faster than I can buy them. You know, that's how it is. But
yeah, that's actually kind of an inside joke. We've had cymbal shards flying at us from all directions on stage before.
Yeah.
You look over and he's just got this little ring left of what used to be a cymbal. Looks like somebody took a buzzsaw to it.
Yeah. Well, it's cool when I'm playing. We don't need blood effect because I hit my hand on them and I got natural blood flying all over the stage. So.
True story.
True story.
So instead of like Zach Wilds when his hand was bleeding during his one guitar solo, now it's the drummer who's bleeding.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was like, it'd be a lot better effects than what Guar puts together right there with all their fake blood and shit going all over the place. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we don't need any of that. Just give this guy a pair of sticks and a cymbal to break. He's good to go.
Yeah, that's not that
crazy
much.
sticks. So
Yeah. Or what was the other one? A stage you can fall through. That was a fun one. This was early on when we started. I think this was our second, maybe third show with him. We're at this little back alley club in Vegas. We're doing our set, and all of a sudden we just see him go down about 4 feet, and we just see hands sticking up out of the stage. The way they had it divided had separated, and he fell right through.
Yeah, the back leg on my throne fell in, so I was kind of leaning back at a 45-degree angle, and I'm still trying to fucking play up here. Show must go on, brother.
Well, and Larry's like, I fell down the no-no hole. So yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Can I get any shorter?
Yeah.
You guys are dicks.
I was gonna say, were you okay there too? Because that would sound like it was pretty almost
He kept
pretty
playing.
injury. He kept playing. So yeah.
He kept playing.
Kept playing.
We were off time, but it worked.
Yeah. It wasn't the designed song I was playing, but
It worked.
I was a little monkey with the drumsticks playing tick 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 tick.
I'm improvising. I'm keeping the beat here, boys. Keep going.
Yep. Always. Yeah. As long as the snare's on time, we're good.
Yeah. And then after the show, he's like, okay, now please call the hospital. I'm bleeding pretty bad. So.
No, I believe we laughed our ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be worried at first, but they're like, and it would be like, oh wait, you okay?
Oh, we were hoping somebody had video.
Oh, that would have been something for YouTube, man.
Yes.
Right. I don't think YouTube is out there. Huh?
It was, but not what it is now.
I don't know.
Not even close.
He's the tech guy, man. I just hit
things.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So,
I'm all business. He's tech.
hey, that's all it is. Or it's almost like the Megadeth album, "Killing is my business. The business is good."
Good.
So, yeah,
Exactly.
that's for sure.
Not a good influence.
Yeah, big one.
I actually did see them. They were actually with Mudvayne and All That Remains when they came through Pittsburgh last year. So,
say what you want about Dave Mustaine's personality, but his guitar playing is undeniable. His songwriting is undeniable. He is who he is for a reason. So yeah, Megadeth is freaking awesome. They're one of our big influences, along with, of course,
great music.
Metallica. You can't be in metal and not reference them.
Exactly.
Whether you want to or not.
I mean, I think most people would still say the old Metallica was better, or
without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, especially coming from that generation and, him growing up in the thrash scene. Yeah, the first 3 albums are the Holy Trinity, basically. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
I was baptized in the waters of the Bay Area. So, yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I would say, man, that would have been awesome too. My dad, he never really got into like Slayer or any of those other ones, but he always had respect for Metallica. There used to be like an hour long. I don't know if it was like an early version of like mandatory Metallica, but basically on our radio station here in Pittsburgh, from like 5 to 6, it would be straight Metallica all
Oh,
throughout.
nice. Nice.
So-
Yeah, 107 did that here a little bit.
Oh, yeah. They had the mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Now they're a great stepping stone for metal, man. I mean, they corporately opened the gates, I guess you could say, kind of.
no, they paved the way. That's
You
for
know?
sure.
I'd say probably more so pay because there was still some good metal from like other groups that were coming out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
tons. Well, and behind the scenes, the Florida scene was blooming and about to blow up.
Oh, yeah.
The late 80s, mid to late 80s, early death metal scene when they all started getting labels. The Morbid Angel finally dropped an album. Death finally dropped an album. Deicide dropped an album. Obituary. I mean, they just all came in full force
Cannibal.
at once. Cannibal Corpse. Well, it started in New York, then Florida.
Yeah.
Death Angel. Monstrosity. Just everything blew up in that one specific area. Kind of the next chapter, I guess you could say.
I actually did try to get someone from Morrison Sounds to actually come on, and I was so pissed because unfortunately the guy had to back out because I guess he been having a problem with his ears or something there too. But I really would love that story because I guess I think there was one time like their equipment got stolen. I don't know if it was because of a hurricane, and then they were able to get it back because I think a police officer was a real big metalhead and they happened to recognize a brand or something. So they found like all the gear from Morrison Sounds like this storage area.
Oh wow.
Oh, fucking sweet.
So it's a funny story, but it's almost like that would probably make an interesting black comedy. So
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Well, I know it's only related because of Morrison Sound, but I know Morbid Angel had a problem with that. Their second tour, I believe, their tour for Blessed Are the Sick, they had an accident on the freeway and their trailer went sliding across like the highway or the freeway at the time, and I guess they lost a bunch of their gear that way too. That was early on.
So needless to say, that we couldn't spend any more on alcohol and big food anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
that's gonna hurt sales.
The Guitar Center.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stop at the Guitar Center. So
That's it.
that's unfortunate. But
That was nice.
I guess have you guys ever played alongside these bands, Slayer, and I guess all the other ones you had influence too?
Not yet.
Yeah.
No.
We did the one with MOD. That was fun.
Yeah, we did play with MOD.
Good fun show.
We played with Tapping the Vein. We played, what was the other band that we played with? That was actually too bad. It was the same show as Tapping the Vein. I can't remember.
It was
Somebody who was well known for a while, but I
many
can't remember
bong
their
hits
name.
ago.
So they must not have been that good, but we played with them. In other projects, I played alongside Powerman 5000, or was the opening act for Powerman 5000. Can't remember anybody else. Nothing worth mentioning anyway.
So very much not like the big names like the Slayers or anybody else like that.
Not me. He has a little bit more experience with that.
Not State of War. I mean, I've been in other groups. You know, we played Overkill, Death Angel. You know, a few of the bigger bands. But like I said, that's not this project, and that'll come, I'm sure. If I
Oh, I did want to ask, like, did you ever get to meet these people? I guess, did you ever interact with them? I was actually curious what they were like.
Yeah. We sit there and talk a little bit, you know. It was really cool. Dino from Fear Factory. That guy's got a heart of gold, man. He's pure metal, man. Hell of a nice guy.
Devin Townsend.
Devin Townsend's good. Yeah, I worked a merch booth for them. And he gave me a shirt. That was cool. He's all like, hey, man, watch our merch. Sure, no problem, dude. That was with Strapping Young Lad. That was at the Hundreds.
Yep.
That was a fun show. That was a good metal fest out here. That 3 days, a lot of bands.
Yeah.
We had Cattle Decapitation, Incantation, fucking
Deicide.
Deicide. That was fun. That was with another project, though.
Actually, on Deicide's, was it Serpent? No, it wasn't Serpents. Look up the album. But there's a making of video or a video that they did as a special edition for their CD that came out at the time. That had them going to the show in Vegas. Like it shows them arriving from the airport into the hotel room, and then going to the venue. That was the Metal Fest in Vegas back in 2004.
Mm.
Yeah,
I want to say Scars, maybe.
Scars. Yes, Scars of the Crucifix.
I was gonna say I remember they did a making of video. I think it was showing them behind the scenes at like the studio trying to put the album together.
Yeah, and then they had a tour vid with that, like a small blip of them in Vegas. I believe it was a digital add-on for that CD, but I could be wrong.
I actually did see a video not too long ago. I actually did show Glenn and Deicide actually playing some of the old material. It was the Satan Spawn, the Kako Demon, and
Oh, nice.
I was surprised because one, I thought that song was a lot harder than what it sounds like too. If I was like maybe a little outside my comfort zone, but I thought at first because it sounded like he and the Hoffman brothers had a real bad falling out. It was like, "Fuck you, I'm only going to be doing like the real big hits that we put together, like Scars, Dead by Dawn, Lunatic of God's Creation, those sorts of songs." I was actually surprised they actually played that one because I think it seems like he's open to now trying to play some of the old Hoffman era songs as well.
Well, that is, I've noticed that a little bit on their newest album. I noticed a lot of Hoffman-esque solos. But one thing about Deicide is, and this is what the big fight was about, is that a lot of the riffs they didn't write. The drummer wrote them, Steve Ashim. He was the big creative force behind Deicide. Him and Glenn are Deicide. The Hoffmans, I don't know what happened with them. That's their business. It was sad to see him go, but I actually do like the albums that came after. They got a little more serious, and their production got a lot better after that.
Sorry about Jack Owen and Ralph Santola.
Yep. Yeah, they were awesome with them. And I don't know if you've heard the new album. They got two new guys. They're freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
That album it's what they needed.
Is that Dave Suzuki who's part of the group now?
No, it's still Steve. I don't know if Suzuki's playing guitar because I know he does that as well. I haven't heard anything of him in years. You remember Dave Suzuki, right? Dechristianized.
Vital Remains, yeah.
Yeah, Vital Remains.
Yeah.
Mario.
No, I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah. Our bass player actually was invited to try out for them when we broke up originally. We had somebody who was a connect, and somehow they got in touch with him, and he never got back to him. So that was his loss.
Whoops.
Yeah, that was a fun one. But no, I don't know if Suzuki's on any of the other instruments. It's still Steve Ashima on the drums, as far as I know.
I knew that. I just didn't know who the guitar players were. I always thought Dave Suzuki was the guitar player because I think he did the guitars with Vital Remains.
He did the guitars and the drums, especially on the Christianized with that annoying snare drum. The pop, 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 pop. Great album, other than that snare. And it was
pick any snare but that snare, yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because they released that around the same time as Saint Anger came out. Oh. So it was like a battle of who could have the worst fucking snare at the time.
Right?
It was like, just take the baseball bat and just hit against this.
Yeah. Just get a garbage can, here's a wrench, go to town.
Knock yourself out. So, yeah. Actually, that was also 2007. And I think Deicide's Stench of Redemption came out in 2006. Which I swear he did on June 6th of 2006.
Yep, 666.
Oh, that dirty dog.
Yeah.
Good market. Good marketing.
Yeah. I mean, Deicide made a lot of money for Roadrunner. They had a good history with the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner years are always going to be like the best. You know, Once Upon the Cross, Legion, Deicide. Even Feasting the Beast is great. Serpents of the Light, of course, is awesome. the ones they did after that with the Hoffmans is where production started to drop. The guitars didn't sound good at all. That even started on Serpents of the Light. Production was really weird on that. It was really light. But once they got rid of the Hoffmans, it picked back up. Everything picked back up.
Seemed like it was more like the thrashy sort of style right there. I don't know if it was also just preference of choice too. I'm not sure. So
Not sure.
I guess which do you side out? Would you say is your favorite?
I gotta say, Once Upon the Cross.
I like Legion.
I say Legion starts off pretty good with Kako
Legion
Demon.
is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Legion is good. Well, they're the first three. I mean,
Yeah, right.
you can't beat them. Just
The
like
Trinity of Deicide, yeah.
Trinity.
Yeah, it seems like that with a lot of bands. I mean, Creator, you know, everyone right now, like their first 3 albums back in the day were just phenomenal. And then people went through changes and stuff like that. But then now all these bands are coming back. And like all their new shit is just fucking fire, dude. Just massively intense, you know?
Well, they were never really gone. They just weren't in the spotlight. Like Testament, they never stopped.
Well, I mean, for me, it's just musically sounding just, it's like everyone went back to their old roots.
Yeah.
And it's like, bam!
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's personal for me because that's just, you know,
Look at
just old school, I
a
guess.
great example of that is look at Max and Igor Cavalera with the Cavalera albums that they released, where they remade the original first few Sepultura albums. Those are awesome. The production they did on those matches the original, but it's audible. It actually has proper mastering done, so they sound amazing. It's nice to hear that come back.
Desperate Cry.
That's it.
Yep.
I should get ready to do a drum cover with that song.
That's
So
the rapid chord. Yep.
I should know I was thinking more building into the faster part. Or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Sepultura was a big influence on me as well.
Oh, big time.
Huge.
Big time.
That was where I got part of my voice from. Main parts of it came from Deicide, them, and Grave. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I at least heard like maybe a couple of their songs, maybe from like You'll Never See, that album.
Yeah.
And, I've at least like studied the history. I know of Grave, but I haven't really gotten into like the music.
Into the Grave is one of the landmark staple Swedish death metal albums. It was one of the first to come out around the times when Sacrilege and At the Gates were morphing into what they became. You'll Never See is probably it's the drumming on it is very basic. I'm sure at the time it was cool when it first came out because it was different with the double bass. But if I listen to it now, it's still a great album, but it sounds like nursery rhymes. The cadence of the vocals, it sounds like they're singing a nursery rhyme. They kind of changed that with Solace, but you can still sit there and snap it to a beat. It's just a standard blues beat on most of the songs, and it's kind of funny to.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say it's easy to rip on some of the later material.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be nice.
We do not wish to offend our Swedish brothers. See?
Exactly. No, I absolutely love them, but it's just when you compare the genre then to now, it's in such a raw, primitive form. It's going to get some heckling from the newer generation. But to us, it was, legendary. And then Solace, when Solace came out, that changed a lot of things that I don't think people realize, because that was where, not the very beginning of it, but that was one of the albums that kind of defined the Swedish chainsaw sound. Them and Entombed, and that was the thing at the time. The old Boss HM.
Was a Swedish chainsaw.
Swedish chainsaw, yeah.
Actually, I know Entombed like slowed it down too. Like I think what was it, Left Hand Path, that was like had a nice thrashy sort of feel to it. And it was like
Doom, yeah.
Little Doom, yeah.
Yeah,
it was like a blues Doom, yeah, for like the later stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, even Wolverine Blues, and
of course,
that's all. If I'm not mistaken, those are all. That's on a blues scale. believe that's all pentatonic.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, and I guess Jason, what sort of vocal technique do you try to use to like make your voice? You do like growls or some screams, or is it kind of like that hard, almost like you're yelling at somebody?
No, I grew up listening to the OGs, you know, Cannibal, Deicide, everything. So it's more of a traditional low growling. Um, the highs are going to be a little bit different than what you're used to with a lot of the bands. Um, I've got something new I've been playing with that's starting to sound pretty good. So it's going to be a mix up of highs and lows. That's one of the reasons he's here.
I guess does Larry also contribute in terms of vocals?
He does.
Yeah,
Highs a lot.
I'm not a grizzly bear growler. I'm more, like a Max Cavalera low. Keep it, that's about as low as I want to go, which ain't death metally low. But the screams I got,
We had an idea
I
for
got some high pitches.
I got to tell this one. We had an idea for a cover song. We were actually going to put this on an album that we were actually in Hollywood recording. And we were going to throw this on last minute, Max Cavalera playing Cocaine by Eric Clapton. You want to take it from here?
Go ahead.
Cocaina! Cocaina!
I love Max, dude. He taught me Brazilian Spanish. Un, dos, tres, cuatro.
I can only count to 4.
Uno, dos, tres, catorce, as U2's Vertigo goes. So,
Well, if you've heard the song Psycho Stick, I can only count to 4. It's Drowning Pools. What is that song? Bodies?
Bodies.
Yeah. And the lyrics are, I can only count to 4. 1. What? I don't remember, but it's basically just counting in steps. 1, something wrong with
It's humorous.
Yeah, it's, I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. Yeah.
something's got to give, or something like that.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, I've heard it too. Actually, it was an opening. It was actually an opening track to when I was doing wrestling back in like middle school, and they played that song too. So I'm like, there's not even a big crowd right here too. I mean, this is just embarrassing. So
I just saw them in Sacramento at Aftershock. That was a good show. The Return of Slayer, Pantera, fucking got to see Priest, Maiden. Woo. My daughter's a bass player, so it's like got her to the front stage, man. She got to see Steve Harris play live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a good festival out there, man. 3 days, 12 hours a day, fuck. Keeping up with the 16-year-old. Fuck, man. I slept well.
she inherited my genes well, we should say. So
Yeah, well, she's a bass player.
That's
Musical genes.
is she trying out for any bands?
She had a band going, but she's in School of Rock, which I totally back up. There's a lot of young kids out there, and they're all playing metal, man. You'd be amazed. I go to the shows, man. These kids all want to be fucking metal, and I love it, dude. I mean, School of Rock, I'll put a blowout to them anytime, man. They do good with them kids. But she's doing that, but she's almost of age where she has to quit, so she's seeking the real music world, Get out there and sling the music to the masses.
Congratulations. That's good to hear there too. So
Thank you.
actually, what sort of festivals do you guys hold out in Vegas these days? Have they still them outdoor ones? They do some maybe indoor ones in some big venue.
Oh, there's Sick New World.
Yeah, it's Sick New World, but it got canceled this year. But it was kind of cool because Sick New World quit, but now we have all these micro shows everywhere. So Machine Head put on their own thing now, and all the bands that had shows for Sick New World, they're all playing, and it's like a whole week of different headliners that were going to be at Sick New World, but now you got 5 shows instead of one festival. So it's kind of, I guess there's a positive in that. That's the only positive I could think of.
At least for the small venues. So yeah.
Oh, it's like a Cradle of Filth. I've never seen them live. They were going to play, and I was like pretty jealous for that.
They were the only band I was actually interested in seeing at that.
Yeah.
I didn't really see many others.
Well, you know, Exodus was playing. You know, I always love seeing them boys.
What's going on with Exodus? Because it seems like they're, I guess they fired their main vocalist. I guess Steve.
Yeah, they part of it, Steve. Yeah. So Rob Dukes is back.
I'm trying to make it out because I always thought like the early ones. I can't describe like his vocal style too because it seemed like on later ones it was more like trying to go with a high pitch was almost like that else. I don't know if I can pronounce it. I don't want to embarrass myself there too, but did they have like the same vocalist at a point? Then they broke up with him and then they brought him back later. Was that how it went with Exodus' history?
I mean, yeah, because Dukes was in what is that Pleasures of the Flesh? No.
I don't know. Exodus, I'm not that
Fuck, I'm trying to think. But you know, he was there. That's the thing with the Bay Area guys. They all switch each other. You know, like from them playing with for Testament switching guys, with Exodus switching guys, and Metallica switching guys, and Forbidden switching guys, the Violence switching guys. The
Gary Holt jumping the Slayer.
yeah. I mean, that's good though. Good community.
It's like, oh, like the NFL in this case.
Yeah,
It's
right.
good. So, yeah. So.
Well, you can't forget Deeds of Flesh and Exhumed.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it. So
Hey, if you got to keep playing, you're going to keep playing.
I do what you can. So fair enough.
Find a way.
All right. So obviously I talked about this new song you got coming out here soon for Valentine's Day, but for your previous works, I guess, what did your lyrics normally delve into? Were you always like straight and direct, like this is what it is? Or did you try to like tell some story?
It's always telling a story, usually about, mostly anti-tyranny. I guess you could say the mission of the band was to change music, was to take what had become stagnant and turn it into new life. Kind of set it back on a different trajectory than where it branched off to. And that's the same thing. It's, I'd say protest music, but it's not. We're not against anything. We're just fighting life.
Kind of personal.
Yeah. Especially with the new one.
Yeah. This new shit's definitely going to be a little personal. So if you're into lyrics, you're going to learn a little bit about, well, whoever, either one of us.
You're going to learn who we are. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how fucked up we could be, and you got to learn how cool fucking people we actually are.
One of the biggest influences we had starting out was Kill 'Em All. So we kind of followed the same blueprint at first. We created a self-titled song, which was rather popular at the time. Another song, Anti-Midas, everything we touch turns to shit. We don't explore religious themes. That's played out. It's tiresome. Everyone's over it. We don't want to fall into that pigeonhole. So it's just personal struggles, all the shit we've had to deal with, and believe me, we've both got a lot of built up shit to let out.
Therapy. That's what it is. So
yeah, definitely.
And not all of these negative either, man.
No.
I mean, it might be a positive thing. It's just whatever fits the song, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about me.
This one's going to be an amalgamation of several different incidences all rolled into one. That way nobody's singled out.
Sure.
For legal reasons. I wish I was kidding about that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of wordplay, a lot of innuendo, but everything you'd expect to hear out of a metal song.
it's just metal, baby, as I like to say. So
Exactly.
So actually, I was going to say, you had some of the New York bands, like Immolation, for instance, that was doing like the anti-Christian or anti-religion songs, and they do it for a good skit. And I guess, actually, in their case, it happened after 9/11. They decided to at least change course, even though there is like some still anti-religion songs.
Yeah.
So, I think it's more D-sides fighter these days. So
Yeah. A lot of bands have moved away from that.
Yeah. I mean, it's good shtick.
It's,
You know,
at the time it was working because, Christianity was really big in the US. It was really big all over the world. In countries such as Norway, Sweden, they had their cultures taken away by Christianity, so that's their way to rebel. It made perfect sense. In the States, we don't really have that to rebel against. We don't have that rule to rebel against. It's not any type of oppressing here with that. So a lot of people don't understand that that's why they went that route. It was basically their form of anarchy, their form of punk.
the Satanic Scare of the 80s. So,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. It just became a giant gimmick after that.
Pretty much. But then you find out the guys who were doing like the anti-Christian songs, mainly like in the U.S., they were like the coolest guys you could ever meet. So,
oh, dude, the scariest guys I've ever met are the ones that if you put a cat in front of them, it's those guys are the kidding. they turn into a 3-year-old at that moment. Myself included. You put a cat in my arms and say, "Who's your fluffy boy? Who's your fluffy boy?" No lie. Every big scary musician I've met is the same way. It's rather hilarious. It's actually become a stereotype that's quite correct.
I guess that explains all the memes with Abbott and trying to do all these cat mixtures mixed in together. So.
My favorite is the one with him and the husky, or Immortal and the husky. I wonder if they figured out I'm a dog yet.
Whatever next. But it's good to at least see people got the human side, we should say.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Always. And because it does get a negative stereotype. Everybody thinks, oh, this is scary. They're so angry. It's like, no, they're the calmest guys in the world because they get it all out by screaming bloody murder on a microphone.
It's therapy, people. This is how they're meant to channel their aggressions of all the day bullshit. So, yeah.
It is. It's primal scream therapy.
And it works.
It does very well.
We need a presidential campaign with music, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Exactly.
That's what we need. So, but this could probably tie in with challenges right here too. But I guess, considering you guys have been around for a good while here too, kind of jumping between bands and this and that too. I guess what challenges have you guys faced? I guess these days, and I guess even in the past.
Other people, wrong people, and in places they shouldn't have been.
Mr. C. So, yeah.
Not just Mr. C. There was somebody else in the background that both helped us and hurt us. And that kind of tarnished the experience a little bit.
I always say Rush had it right, man. Keep it a 3-piece. One less asshole to worry about, or 2 less assholes to worry about. 3 guys. I can get along with Jason. We just need to find one more guy to get along with, and we're all right. Now, when you start working 6 guys in the band, and that's tough. It's tough to get along with 6 guys in a room or 5 guys in a room.
Or 2 guys, 3 guys.
Nah, you're all right.
Well, it takes.
I mean, you go here. But yeah. I was going to say, it didn't really work out too much with Triumph, or I don't know how long they lasted until they finally disbanded. So.
No, it's tough. It's tough to stay together and be together, you know. It's a brotherhood. Sometimes you hate them, sometimes you love them.
And in Vegas, it's hard because everybody's so transient. You never know if anybody's going to stay the next day. That happens a lot.
That is true.
I'm here today, gone tomorrow. So yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Actually, how'd that one lyric go? It was a Damage Case from Motorhead. It was like, I'm here tomorrow, gone today, or something like that. I think it was just a joking, but it sounded like it was.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember shit.
No.
Motorhead. I haven't listened to Motorhead in years.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Lemmy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's another one. It's another legend. And then Peter Steele, also a big influence.
Carnivore.
And early Typo. Before they started putting you to sleep.
like the slow and also shedding tears too. You just listen to Red Water, Christmas Morning.
Yes.
They start hitting with the heartstrings next. So
That's not a song you want to listen to if you have depression.
life is killing me.
Dude, I actually saw them when they started getting more mundane and melodic.
When Bloody Kisses hit and they had to change.
They opened for War. Now there's a fucking apples and oranges. So that was.
We got the depressing bunch right here, or we should say the depressing goth kids, and then we bring in the what should we say, the hyperactive space lords or something.
Yeah.
We're probably high on some sort of space cocaine or something.
It was
like
Typo, then Exodus, and then Gore, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I saw Typo shortly before Peter died at the House of Blues here in Vegas. It had to have been maybe 1-2 weeks before, if not sooner. And you could tell just by looking at him, he was not doing well. You could tell there was something wrong, and it was really sad to see because you could see what he was and then what he became, and it's just a sad experience to see somebody fall like that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, actually, in some of my interviews, there was one person I interviewed at Arkansas. He actually met Peter Steele face to face, and he was playing pool. And he was asked him for any sort of advice. He just said, "Stay in school." So.
Yeah,
right.
But then the other one, the guy for Guar originally, David Brocky, he was actually real good friends with a guy out of Virginia. His name's Brian, and he owns another round bar, and he's part of his band Sacrificial Betrayal, and they were actually real good friends at one point until Brocky had tragically passed.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
small world after all, specific sense. So, but still stick with challenges, I guess. Do you guys use any AI for your music? And I guess what do you make of social media these days?
Not at all. I do everything myself. I program. I am using a drum programmer because drums are hard.
Small studio size.
Yeah. But I'm doing it beat by beat. I'm not using samples. I'm not using somebody else's template. I'm actually programming it as it would be played by a human. And then, of course, putting a skin over it. Superior Drummer 3. Sounds great. Everything else is done by hand. I don't believe in auto-tune. I don't believe in cut and paste. I don't believe in a lot of the recording tactics that are being used today. Trying to keep it original, back to the way it used to be with analog recording.
Raw.
Yep. And real song structure, not cut and paste and put into whatever they deem fit is acceptable by today's standards.
I actually use Superior Drummer 3 as well. I use that for my drum covers. So
Nice.
I'd say mine's a Frankenstein kit. I'm using a Yamaha bass to really make sure it stands out from like the songs. So I mean, it may sound like a typewriter, but I mean, like, hey, I'm happy with it. So
Hey, Frank and Kit's work, man.
it somehow works. I don't know how it does, but it's just like preference. It's at that point. It's just preference.
Yeah, it's funny you asked the AI question because I've actually gotten that a couple times when I first started releasing clips, and that was the first question I got. Is this AI or is this an actual band? It's like, well, it's one dude. It's I wouldn't say AI, but I mean, is that really a problem that we're going to start having? That kind of caught me off guard because is that what bands are doing now? Is that really a thing? I mean, I've seen like videos where they splice old songs with new beats, mash up stuff like that using AI.
There's full AI bands out there.
Yeah, but has any one of them actually became profitable? Known?
That I don't know.
I guess is my question.
I'm not too sure, but to be or not to be, that is the question.
That's the worry. That's the worry with AI. How much is it going to replace? How much control are we going to have? How much are we going to lose? And that's a big problem with music, especially in that realm, in the acoustic realm. Everything's turning electronic. drums have become the click of a button, and now bass, the click of a button. It's not going to be too long before guitar's doing the same thing if it's not already.
That would be live shows, man.
Yeah.
Always be live shows.
Well, and even live shows are fake as hell now.
Yeah.
Everybody using backing tracks instead of playing instruments. They go up there with these little, I've seen little amplifiers, like little 10-inch bass amps being mic'd on a sound system, but they've got all these pre-recorded tracks going in the background, makes them sound 10 times larger than they really are. If you turn that off, you're just going to hear, twang, twang, twang. It's not how they really sound.
Shit.
Gotta get back to our roots, as we were
Exactly.
talking about earlier. So yeah.
Exactly. So my goal is to branch off where metal was death metal, metal, extreme metal, whatever you want to call it, whatever genre you want to call out. It branched off into a different direction that it really shouldn't have gone into. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but I'm going to say it. The emo, screamo, and core bands. They turned metal into pop singers.
I like it.
That's all I got to say.
I like
I
it.
said Larry likes it because it's at least along his cup of tea.
Oh, he's just trying to avoid the hate because he knows I'm going to get shit for this.
Man, I don't give a shit, dude. No, I mean, I like it. I don't care what it is. A good song's a good song, man. Don't like everything from everybody, except Slayer. But, a good song is a good song, man. Fuck it.
I'll agree with that. I'll definitely agree
Some
with that.
things ain't you know what I say? It ain't my flavor. Certain things just ain't my flavor.
I just feel things branched off in a direction that they shouldn't have. And I want to try to set it right.
I'd say maybe in the beginning, when you're going into uncharted waters, it's like, okay, that's a cool experiment. I guess let's see where that goes. I think when it becomes so repetitive, like when you go with deathcore, you get like a whole bunch of breakdowns and stuff.
Well, let's speak the name that started all this. Meshuggah. We came up in the time when Meshuggah was blown up.
Oh, yeah.
And we were the first band in Vegas to identify them and start playing in that off-time cadence. And it's really shocking to see that it spawned an entire genre that sounds identical. All of these bands that spawned off of this, there's no originality anymore.
It's tough.
Everybody sounds the same. It's like everybody's aiming to sound like the last guy who came before them instead of creating something new like everybody was doing previously. There's just a loss of creativity and a loss of freedom.
I always like to make the joke because no one likes the political progressives, but it seems like one that everyone would love in terms of progressiveness is somewhere in music, because it seems like the progressive style, metal or rock or whatever, they'll do all sorts of crazy shit, like what you take with Between the Buried and Me, for instance. So they'll mix everything together and it sounds so badass. So yeah. So you can see what I mean there.
Yeah. But you look at the historical acts, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, The Who, Pink Floyd. Do you hear anybody doing anything close to that kind of shit now? Do you hear anybody trying that level of innovation anymore? No. There's nothing new. Everything's so computerized it sounds generic.
That's for sure. But actually, I thought it was more suffocation because I thought they said on Leech of Veracity, the part where it goes right into the breakdown, they said that was probably like what I call maybe the bass drop or something when the boom, for instance.
Yeah.
So I thought they credited that, and I thought that was what deathcore was trying to do. So I thought they said suffocation was part of the reason deathcore came into existence too, along with what you said with Meshuggah.
Well, yeah, Meshuggah started the gent genre. Suffocation, they've been around since the OG days.
Okay.
Forever. Yeah, they came up in the same time as all the OGs. They're still going. And I can kind of see where you say that. But they haven't really changed their style. since they started. They've just gotten better at it.
I don't think it's as technical as it used to be. It's still technically their style of music, but I felt like it was more technical on their like earlier releases. Like Pierce from Within, that one's my all-time favorite from them.
Yeah. Not the most recent. I want to say it's maybe one or two albums back when they replaced their drummer. I can't remember the name of it. My memory is shot these days. But the drumming on that was rather technical. I'll have to IM you the name as soon as I can remember it. But from there forward, they started getting a lot better. Like the drumming got a lot more technical.
I know Mike Smith was with them for a good while, and
Yeah,
I'm trying to- Mike Smith, dude's a phenom, especially when you listen to him.
Oh, big time, dude, big time.
Just listen to him on Effigy too. I mean, it's like holy shit, this guy's crazy. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
I guess show me the last question here, and then we can get to the fun questions. I guess what advice would you want to give to musicians out there from your experience?
Don't stop. Practice, 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 practice. Believe in yourself. Don't listen to other people. Keep going.
Love it. Embrace it. I mean, if it's going to be your hobby, play it like a hobby. If it's going to be your life, make it your life.
Just want to be sure. I didn't want to make sure I didn't interrupt anybody. So
No, like that's
Short and sweet, brother. Just like me.
I don't know about sweet.
we're working on the sweetness. So,
Yeah.
right.
He's
No.
sweet to his woman. He's sweet to his woman. So
If you feel it's what you were meant to do, you know what to do. You just keep pushing.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter how hard you get kicked down, and believe me, we've been kicked down really, really hard. And the only thing you can do is rock. They said it best in a Rocky Balboa. Life is about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
That's it.
And that's the truest thing I could ever say.
amen.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep.
Okay. The boys' reviews for the questions here are pretty good. So yeah, let's get to some fun ones. Ready?
Sure, shoot.
All right. So I was only in Vegas once or two. I didn't really get to explore too much, but I guess I just know there's a particular Vegas dish we don't know about. But I guess what is currently your favorite food to kick it off, Jason?
Chicken. Anything chicken. Doesn't matter. As long as it's cooked. Not really a big food guy at all.
I was like crispy chicken.
It doesn't matter. Grilled, crispy, doesn't matter. Lemon pepper, doesn't matter.
Oh, Raising Cane's. Actually, that's the next thing. Go for Raising Cane's.
Not a big fan of KFC. Chicken parmesan, chicken marsala, just chicken.
It shall be devoured. So,
Exactly.
Okay. Larry?
No bark.
Oh man, dude, I'm a cook anyway, man. So steak and fries, brown gravy on top, can't beat it.
Sounds like American Putin, if we want to call it that, as they say.
Meat and potato, dude. Meat and potato.
Yep.
Meat and potatoes.
That's it. And a vegetable. Got to get your greens in. Shit.
Somehow, yeah. All right. I'll move on to the next one. I'm not too sure how much you guys are into TV or TV shows, but I guess what's your favorite movie and what's your favorite TV show?
Oh, that's a hard one. TV show, I gotta say South Park. That really doesn't need an explanation. South Park. Movies, I don't really have a favorite. I'm a fan of movies in general. I mean, there's always going to be one I prefer over others, but I don't have like one that stands out as a favorite. I like, Goodfellas, Casino, The Crow, The Godfather, Matrix series, the Marvel series, Star Wars, of course. I grew up in the original generation, born 78. So Star Wars was shoved down my throat before I could even walk.
Around the
I
time
can't
when
believe-
Empire Strikes Back was coming out, yeah.
Yeah.
It came out before you were born, man.
Well, no, the first one came out in 77.
Yeah. I saw it in the
And-
movie theater when I was little.
Right. And then the second one came out in, what, 80? I believe that's right.
I think you're right. I think it was 80, and then 83, I think, was Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah. But, okay, no, Empire Strikes Back.
I always gotta go with the epic plot twist. I am your father.
Yeah, well, that probably goes up with favorite movie.
I mean, yeah. I don't think I was gonna say I don't think most people know how to really be like a plot twist like that. But I would say I think everyone the trope unfortunately these days gets old whenever it's like played out in like kids cartoons or something like that.
Right.
It's like, dude, we already know. Can you please stop? So-
Yeah, it gets really old. But still agree. I mean, they haven't been able to top it yet. Empire's still probably the best one.
I guess. I wasn't too sure if New Hope or Return topped it at one point. I don't know. So
Originally, yeah, it didn't receive very good reviews at first because it was such a drastic change. Originally, people hated it, but it ended up becoming the most popular in the franchise.
I guess because you went from like something that was light to like the heroes winning to all of a sudden the heroes losing and like
Yep.
all this shit happening. So it was like, this is dark, man.
Well, but in life, transition, that kind of thing is required for transition.
It's meant to happen. So yeah.
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 To come back stronger, sometimes you have to hide in silence.
As far as movies, man, I mean, I'm a history buff, so anything that has to do with, the world wars or any wars in particular, movies, any kind of war movie, really, history movie, gladiator movie, something foreign time, comedies. I'm into all that shit. Like I said, a good movie is a good movie, like a good song. As far as TV shows, hands down, MASH is my all-time favorite show. Just the adult comedy in that nobody really got. If you look into it, man, that shit's fucking hilarious.
And soap.
But since they don't play MASH too much anymore, I gotta say, in the past 7 years, ironically or not ironically, but the same kind of comedy, but out of the fact of war in the 50s, the fucking Golden Girls, dude. I sit there and cry every night watching that fucking show, bro.
Starting to have questions about you.
Ah, dude, there's so many. It's just comic. There's so many left turns in that fucking show. It just make you laugh if you pay attention. You gotta pay attention.
Rest in peace, all the Golden Girls. Now with Betty White joining them too. So
Yeah, big time. But MASH definitely hands down, man.
yeah, I can see what. I haven't seen too much with MASH, but I'd say Golden Girls. I forget what channel it was on, but I used to watch it because it was always like a late night show. I watched maybe one or two episodes. TV Land or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say more of Rose really brought out.
Oh yeah. Hands down, my favorite, dude. She's such a fucking bubblehead. Perfect.
I think they even show like you get these little reels and other shorts. It'll show like I think parts here like they had to like really hold it in because I guess they wanted to just burst out laughing, but you like still see them like hold it in or they improvise like right on the spot. So
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of that was done, man.
That's for sure. All right. So in terms of alcohol and I guess non-alcoholic drinks, I guess which ones would you say are your favorites?
I don't drink. I'm not against it. I just never had the taste for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a break from consuming alcohol, but back when I was drinking, it was just straight Bud Light. They say you should drink water with beer, or like every 3 beers, drink water. I got both in the same beer. Watered down beer, man. Saved me time.
Oh, so Coors Light.
Yeah, Bud
Yeah.
Light, Coors Light.
Yeah. Yes.
Very much. Never seen a guy drink horse piss that fast. So
Yeah, not a hard alcohol guy.
I guess it's a good thing
I
that too.
grow 2 feet and 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I drink anything hard alcohol.
Well, good job staying sober there, Jason. So good job. Right. And the last fun questions here. This one I might put you on the spot
Okay.
because I know you guys talking about influences. We'll get bit here too, but this one's going to delve into a favorite song, one from the mainstream world, and then one from the independent community. So I guess which ones would you say are your favorite from those two communities?
Oasis, Wonderwall. And from the independent was the second. That's tough
Independence.
because that's basically every band we listen to. Mm,
Yeah, that's right.
Cannibal. I mean,
Mm.
Cannibal's on Metal Blade. Metal Blade is considered an independent label. Um, they were also the highest grossing death metal band of all time, I believe, collectively. Sold the most albums. So I'd have to say Cannibal Corpse.
I didn't know about that. I thought Metal Blade was like this renowned like music studio. So I thought it was like, okay, they made it mainstream. Or
No, they
something
were a
like that.
total independent studio. What's his name? Lives out here now. Bryan, the founder.
Reynolds?
No,
From who?
from Metal Blade.
Metal Blade?
Yeah,
Siegel?
Cycle. No,
Brian Slagle? Slagle? How do you say his
I
name?
forget it. I don't fucking remember, but yeah, he lives out here now. He has a shop out here with all the old Metal Blade memorabilia.
I think you're all right. I think it was Brian Slagle, but well,
Right.
There you go.
I'll have to look it up. Google know it later. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
This early in the morning, and for me it is early, my brain is shot. So me remembering anything right now is going to be next to impossible.
let's say it's noon right now. So
Yeah, that guy. So I'm just going to refer to him as that guy's here. The dude from Metal Blade. He's out here now, and he's doing stuff with other dudes.
I think independent label or major labels, man, it's just, like I said, just if it's good, it's good. I mean, if it's my flavor, it's my flavor. That's pretty much where I'm at with that shit.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. I mean, again, there's too many to pull from. So when I think pop, first thing I'm going to think is, my generation's pop, which was like Oasis, Bush, all that stuff. The grunge scene was coming to an end, so to speak, at that point.
unfortunately. So
Yeah, so that's the first one that comes to mind. But I mean, these days I don't listen necessarily just for enjoyment. I listen for production value. So I've been getting into Muse a lot. Probably my recent big influence. But I've also been listening to stuff like Katy Perry or anything that has like good production behind it, a good producer behind it, a good songwriter behind it. I'll listen
that's
to
what you get for waking up in Vegas. So
Yep.
jeez. We're going far. Next thing you know, he's going to be the Swiftie before you know it. So
I don't think I would let myself go that far. I haven't heard anything that catches my ear by her. But the way that production is going with music, you kind of have to adapt in some form if you're going to compete.
in some capacity. So
Yeah.
but in this case, we'll just circle E, all the above. So
Yeah.
fair enough. All
Fair
right, so boys, we're down to one more question of my podcast right here. Before we close out or jump into it, would you guys like to ask me any questions or say any final words before we jump into it?
Shit. I appreciate you fucking spreading the word, having us on. Definitely appreciate that. Hopefully, it's a good, like I said, what do you want to say?
Interaction, conversation.
Interaction. I mean, our people see you, your people are going to see us. Let's make it all positive,
Yeah. No questions for you at all. Just thank you very much for having us. You're the first one to interview us. Hopefully the first of many. We'll find out. But I definitely appreciate you reaching out to me. and getting this started.
What kind of drums you play, man?
I don't have an acoustic set. I've been rolling with electric ones, but I got a new one for Christmas. I'm so happy about them. It's
Right.
still a Roland brand, but it's a VAD 306 or 706.
Sweet. What do you think of them demon drives?
I never really used one, so I honestly couldn't tell you. So
Yeah. I got turned on to them by a friend of mine, so they're nice.
it's all good and everything too, but at least it limits the music, so we're not driving our neighbors and parents crazy. So,
Oh no, yeah. I mean, my apartment. I don't have my acoustic kit up either. I'm playing a little Lexi's. So I feel
it's
you.
there is too.
Alexis.
Alexis.
Whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. I've been upset.
Alexis.
I'll play that too. I don't care what it's called. I'm gonna fucking hit it with a stick.
If there is a pad and it's circular, we will hit it. So
That's it.
Basically, yes.
basically. All right. But there's no other questions. Here's how the last one goes, and Jason, you can start. So, given what COVID's done, obviously you guys were pretty blessed, and obviously it's good to see you guys got back together to form State of War. That will deal there too. But for those musicians and people who have been impacted by COVID or dealing with anything else in their lives, like depression, addiction, and that sort of stuff,
Mhm.
what's their message of hope? Can you give to those musicians and people so they can move forward with their lives?
That's a really tough question.
I got turned into a preacher now. So
Nah, that's I would say the best thing is the only thing that I could say to people struggling in that situation is you have to keep pushing no matter what. It goes back to what I said before about best advice I could give a musician would be the same thing I would say to any young struggling person or anybody struggling in that situation, especially with depression. If you recognize that it is beyond your capability to hold it back or control it, seek help. Don't wait for something to happen. Don't wait for someone to come to you with a solution. Seek help immediately. If you find yourself in that situation, because it's not a hole you want to go down.
Yeah,
Keep fighting and just keep pushing.
definitely don't hold it in, man. Talk to somebody.
Yes.
I mean, you might think this person's like, I got the greatest life in the world, man. You don't know what they got in their closet, man. I mean, you'll be amazed how many people got the same problem as you, whether it be a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, family crises, fucking whatever you have. Reach out. Don't keep it inside. Don't bottle up, man. Don't bottle up. You just tear yourself down. And and don't be ashamed of whatever it is. Fuck it. I mean, if you're willing to change yourself, and you are the only one that can change yourself, but you got to have a support. Support is the best thing ever.
And one thing I'd like to add is the best way to get to the top is by bouncing off the bottom.
Done it a few times myself.
Yep.
So, hey, call me. I'll talk to you all fucking night.
Ditto. Right.
Seriously, reach out, man. There's people out there willing. I'll help anyone. I don't care if I know you, don't know you.
You're not the only one suffering. A lot of people are going through it. It's not just you. You are not alone.
absolutely. And spoke like a bunch of true prodigies. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
boys, we have reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked a little over an hour and 40 some minutes.
Oh.
And I guess it's new, so you guys still got the day ahead of you there too. But
Yep.
before we close, just before we close out, want to give any shout outs? Any final words?
Hey,
That's a hard one.
support School of Rock, man. Keep them kids playing.
Stay in school, kids. So,
Yeah.
Shout out to Graythorn. Like I said, great guys. Absolutely love them. Really proud of what they're doing and how far they're coming. It's nice to see somebody who put his heart and soul into something finally start to reap the rewards. So, gotta call them out for that. They earned it.
And a shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Yes, definitely.
no worries. And just real quick, what social media and streaming platforms you guys are on? So you can check out your music. I tried looking for you on Spotify. I couldn't find it.
I haven't put anything up yet until it's registered, until it's, distributable. On the 14th, it's going to be available on all online platforms, Spotify, Apple, you name it. I'm releasing through DistroKid, so it's going to hit every outlet.
All right, sounds good. So, everyone, my guests today were Jason and Larry, hailing from the lovely Sin City of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sea blast.
Just chilling with them in the red light district. So, there we go. So,
Yep.
nonetheless, they're all part of their group. Stand for War right here, too. So, go hit up all stream platforms, all social media and everything here, too. Got the new material coming out on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
I'm going to shit on, or I'll shit on your grave or something like that, or is that what it's called?
I shit on your grave.
I shit on your grave. All right. So, here from this guy right here, too. So, boys, again, so much again for coming on. So, you do stay safe, because it's a pretty fucked up world out there.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Any
you very
opposed?
much.
Right on, brother.
Thank
Hope
you,
to
y'all.
speak with you again.